This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
I said that last year already. Tua's the better QB. Herbert's the better talent. And that will be proven overall. Okay? I get it. Everybody's wowed with Herbert's talent. But that doesn't mean that you're going to be the better quarterback. And that's the part that I think that's why you'll see a lot of people backtrack this year as Tua has a terrific season, because they didn't understand the quarterback position from the get-go. And they blamed everything on Tua and didn't look around that he had no help. And you're a great QB when you're the least sacked quarterback behind the worst line and no running game. That tells me you're smart as hell. You could get rid of the football. You can make plays, not cost your team a whole bunch of negative plays, unlike Ryan Tannehill, who is the most sacked quarterback behind a real line and two running backs, where you should not get sacked at all, practically. Tua behind that line and those running backs would rarely ever get sacked, because that's what great quarterbacks can do. They have an awareness. And that's the problem with people. Some of you out there, you think the quarterback that's 6'5" and they can throw it out of the stadium and run like a deer automatically must be the great quarterback. But the guy that might be shorter and is as smart or smarter, can understand the game and read defenses, has great anticipatory skills, has great ball placement, and touch. So all of a sudden, that can't be a great QB? No, actually, that's usually what great QBs come out of. And I don't care if you're Fran Tarkenton. I don't care if you're Roger Staubach. I don't care if you're Joe Montana. I don't care if you're Drew Brees. I don't care if you're Bob Greasy. I've seen this quarterback over and over again. I know what the great Tua-like quarterbacks look like, and I've mentioned them. The guys that aren't built like walls. The guys that can't throw 80 yards downfield with a flick. Yeah, none of those guys can do that. But they were great quarterbacks. They were super smart. Peyton Manning is actually a wall, but has the arm like those guys. But I mean, nobody will look. Peyton Manning wasn't going to throw a 90-yard strike, a 70-yard strike, bro. Never. He was never going to do that. He didn't have that kind of arm. But ball placement, accuracy, all of that. There's a lack of understanding the quarterback position in my eyes. And that's been the problem with Tua from the get-go, because too many are enamored with the big arm and the big player. And I can understand that. I can understand you getting intoxicated with all of that. That still doesn't mean you're going to be a great quarterback. And that's the part that people don't understand. So I watched one kid in college win the national title, and the other kid did not. So he already beat him at one level. He already beat him in a head-to-head matchup. We'll find out who has the better career down the line. And in a couple years, we'll have this discussion again, and we'll go back over it, and then those people will understand that it's not merely on talent. And of course, Herbert has it. He has it tenfold. So talented. Still doesn't mean he's going to be the better quarterback. And that's the difference. And that's why I've explained it over and over and over again to people, and they just don't get it. And that's fine. That's fine. I've seen the Jeff George. I've seen the Achilles Smith. I've seen the Ryan Leafs. I've seen the Jamarcus Russells. I've watched all those guys that had the magical talent. They were big. They were strong. They can throw it wherever the hell they wanted to. it never meant that they were going to be great quarterbacks. And so we will find out. Time will answer all of. Hey, listen, man, I had to deal with the Tannehill stuff. And I don't know how many of you will admit it, because I'm sure some of you that are going to listen to this show, download it, or those of you that are watching, I don't know how many of you are going to admit it to yourselves, but some of you got suckered by what happened in Tennessee, and you thought all of a sudden he was a real quarterback there, when he was never a real quarterback there. He was just a facilitator playing off of Henry in that line and Arthur Smith, who designed everything perfectly and all of that. But it wasn't because he was the guy that was elevating everybody. He was just facilitating. But people didn't understand that. They don't see it. They just see numbers. They see a throw or two, and then they don't really pick up on the whole game and watch it. And then now, when push comes to shove and the game is on the line and it's in his hands, he'll fail miserably every time. And why? Because people don't really, some of you out there don't really understand the quarterback position and what it entails and what it takes for that human being to succeed. And a lot of times it's all mental. Very little of it has to do with physical. Usually most of the guys that get to this league physically have enough to get by. Most of them, not all. You have your Teddy Bridgewaters, you have your Steve Walshes of the world, you have your Ty Detmers, you have those guys that, they might get by on smarts, but they're not in the end ever going to be elite because they weren't gifted enough. But most of the guys that get here have enough, have more than enough to be great quarterbacks. It's this. That's the part that separates the great quarterback from the decent quarterback, the game manager, the backup, the guy that doesn't belong there at all. It's this. It's rarely about talent. It's rarely that, he doesn't have enough height or he doesn't have enough arm. It's not the case. And that's never been the case with Tua. And that's where a lot of you already, you're already wrong, thinking that, no, he's too short. Oh, no, his arm isn't strong enough. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, and you're wrong again. And you're wrong 8 more times after that. Now, soon, you'll be wrong after he goes out there and he balls out. And that'll prove that you're dead ass wrong on every level.
This is the Big O Show.